Take it away, please, and thank you.
The one thing you forgot, Debbie, was coffee in the morning.
Got it. That's don't even have to put that on the list.
Tom, did you
Oh,
have anything?
I was
Tom
just
never
waiting.
doesn't stop. You don't
Tom's
stop
got
talking
his
and you got
coach.
nothing?
I was waiting on you.
Tom, you're a coach too, you know, buddy.
I apologize. I was preoccupied reading something on leadership, and it says show up on time. And I guess I wasn't on time. So, and now I'm here, but I wasn't here, and I apologize for that. So good morning, everyone. And what's interesting is Curtis had sent me the 12 weeks can equal 1 year, and I'm thinking, what? So then I started posting a few things about it, and I got some great responses from other agents, and then I linked Curtis up with one of the agents who sent some information that they just went through something with the 12 weeks equals a year. And then I started doing more research on it, and I'm like, holy cow. See, it comes down to, are we consistently doing the things that we need to do on a regular basis, and then achieving the results that we desire? So I'm super excited about this series that Curtis and Debbie and DJ are going to be going through. We are privileged and grateful and blessed to have them do this. I will tell you, I'm not that smart, and I don't know, I wouldn't have been able to rip off and duplicate this like them. So guys, I hope that you get as much as, oh, look at Claire. She's smiling and giggling. I hope you're feeling better, by the way. So anyway, sorry, the squirrel got in the way. So guys, please take your notes, be prepared. And I opened this up for all agents, anybody in the industry, and we put it on a public page. So we have a lot of guests here today. So hopefully everyone can get something, golden nuggets out of this call. Curtis, it's all yours, bud. Thank you for being here this morning.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the intro. And Tom, you are smarter than you say you are. Not that much smarter, but you're smarter. You're smarter, buddy. So we'll give you some credit. No, I'm just kidding. Tom's incredible. If you all don't know, we talk to him a lot throughout the week. A lot of texts, a lot of, back and forth. And it's exactly what you could imagine. It's very short, sweet. We miss half the points of what we're talking about, which is why we have to talk so much to begin with. Just saying, we gotta slow down, Tom. It's all good. Listen, welcome. So glad you guys are here. Excited about this call. And just a little backstory on how it came up. I don't know about you guys, but over the past couple of years, while it's been incredible, I 100% feel like I'm all over the place. And with that being said, we got together and we started thinking and talking. And this has been over the past couple of weeks. And it's been about, us talking to the agents and to others that we're coaching and getting the opportunity to work with. And I was like, God, how are we going to reel it in? What are we going to do? How can we reel it in and really get uber focused going into 2023? Because, well, we know what it's going to look like, at least right this very second. And we've got an indication that things might even change or whatever, whether it's for the better, the worse, or whatever. Doesn't make none of that makes any difference. So we got to get past all of that. But, how can I really reel it in, get uber focused, and then execute on what I need to do at the highest level so that I can have an incredible 2023. And so that's where this conversation came up with. And so we're going to talk about this book that was written a few years ago, and you don't have to go buy it or anything. We're kind of going to break it down and talk about it with you, but it's called the 12-week year. And really it's about getting uber focused and then executing on a plan in a shorter amount of time, obviously 12 weeks. And by doing that, you become even more productive. And quite honestly, let me just break it down for you. If you take your year and you break it down into 4 parts of 4 weeks, well, that only adds up to 48. Well, there's 52 weeks in the year, my friends. That means you get 4 weeks off. I don't know about you, would love some 4 weeks off. Right? Like, who wouldn't want 4 weeks off? You mean I only got to work for 4 weeks really, really, really hard and focused, and then I get a week off? I'll take it. Oh,
12
thank you.
weeks, 12 weeks.
Or
You gotta
12
work
weeks,
hard
I'm
for
sorry.
12
Yeah,
weeks, yeah.
12. Thank you for correcting me. And actually, thank you for coming to the party. Let's talk about this in this 4 weeks equals 1 year.
12 weeks equals 1
12
year.
weeks. I'm sorry, I gotta quit saying that. 12 weeks.
Well, you're thinking about grit, Curtis, 4 weeks to a 6-figure pipeline.
Yes.
That's right.
There you go. So anyway, go ahead, Deb.
Yeah, so listen, welcome back after the holidays. I think everybody's back in work mode. We kind of slumbered through the 25th, through the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, through the end of this week. And we're the little engine that could. We're gearing, we're like, okay, some of us have been hitting it hard, and kudos to you for hitting it hard already. But for most of us, I don't know about you, I feel like I'm gearing up. I feel like next week's gonna be my week. This week I was finishing up, loose ends and doing a little bit of work and doing a little bit of prep, but really feel like the engines are running. And here's what the challenge is. And you'll know that, I don't know if you'll recognize yourself. I recognize myself in this. Stephen Pressfield, who wrote The Art of War, says that most of us have 2 lives, the lives we live and the lives we're capable of, right? And it's the latter that we really want to talk about. We all know a rookie of the year that came into the business and with no knowledge, no understanding of what to say or when to say it or how to say it, simply got into action with having the conversations and closes 6 figures, right, in their first year, because they just got so focused on the activities. And the challenge is there's a gap between, we all know what we're supposed to do and we struggle to do it. And I think sometimes that comes from the fact that we set 12-year goal, a 1-year goal. So if your goal this year is to close 30 transactions, what most of us do is it's kind of, here's what I do. I put that 30 transactions out there and it's more of a wish than a plan, right? And Tom, you've done an amazing job over the last 90 days by teaching business planning workshop, because that actually helps take that 30 closings and it brings it down on paper to numbers. But what the 12-week year kind of argues is that if we have a 1-year goal, it's way out there and it doesn't help us focus activities on what we want to do today. And by shortening that year, now I'm not saying that you want to take your 1-year goal of 30 transactions and do it in 12 weeks. Of course you can do it in 12 weeks. But what we're saying is take 1/4 of that and make your goal a 12-week goal, because when you have only 3 months to execute, you have a tendency to execute more purposefully, right?
Well, Deb, you're exactly right. We have that 1-year goal. And let's say, for instance, in January, we fall a little bit short, right? We've taken our 1-year goal. We've broken it down. We said, well, okay, I got to close 3 a month. Well, if you only close 2 in January and then 2 in, February, you think, well, I've still got 10 more months to hit my goal. And oftentimes with that thinking, then what we do is we put off the things that are crucial to what we need to do in order to catch up, to get back on track, to do things. It's about changing our thinking around this big giant goal into these small little boxes of these 12-week periods of time, right? And it's really comes down to, if we can change our thinking around it when we break it down like this, and we're going to help you with that, and we want to talk to you about that. So any questions, feel free. But it's really about controlling your days and not really having your days control you. And I don't know about you, but I struggle with that on a constant basis. Tom, you look like you want to say something. Go ahead.
I do. So
Okay, there you go.
It's sort of like what we used to call front loading, because once you start, you have a plan and you divide it for the month and you divide it by 30 or 25 or whatever the number of days you're going to work. And it's like we expect that that's going to happen every day. We're going to be able to do X number of things. Well, what happens if you get sick? Or what happens if something big happens and you're not able to work or whatever? So as a coach, I'm always encouraging my clients to front load, get things done early. That way, if somebody comes up and says, hey, let's go to the Keys for a week, you can say, cool, I've already met my goal. I can go to the Keys for a week. It's just important that we remember that life isn't exactly equal every day. So.
Love it. Thank you.
There's a quote, Curtis, in the book that says, knowledge is power. And the author disagrees. Knowledge is only powerful if you use it and if you act on it. People spend a lifetime acquiring knowledge, but to what purpose? And listen, this isn't a judgment thing, but I hear agents all the time speak in ways that that indicates they feel like there's something they need to learn. In other words, there's a gap in what they know, right? That they don't know everything, especially when an agent is newer to the business will say, well, I have a lot to learn. Well, you do have a lot to learn. I've been in business 30 years. I learn stuff every day about this business, right? So it's not a knowledge problem. It's an execution problem, right? We read that book. Is it the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, Curtis, that says it's strategy and execution, right? There's 2 things you need to be successful. And everybody runs around and talks about strategy, but that's not what we struggle with. And we all do, right? What we all struggle with is execution. By the way, y'all know what you need to do. You need to have more real estate conversations every day, period. That's it. That's all you need to do. You need to have more real estate conversations every day, but we struggle with that. So the challenge is when we have a 12-month goal or a 1-year goal, it doesn't help us focus on the conversations we need to have every day. But if we shorten it to 12 weeks and say, gosh, I got to close 3, 6, 9 transactions in the next 90 days, that's a transaction every 10 days. If I said to you right now, your life depends on it, you've got to close a transaction every day for every 10 days for the next 90 days. And if you don't, something tragic will happen, or let's make it a little more positive. I'll give you $1 million. You'd hang up from this call right now and you would go get into action because you would know exactly what you needed to do in order to, I got to close one every 10 days, which means maybe they're not going to close for 30 days, but I got to get one under contract in the next 10 days, So if you had to, your life depended on it, get something under contract in the next 10 days, what would you do today?
No, so Deb, you're exactly right. So my activities look different. Right? My activities look way different knowing every 10 days I got to close a deal than if I had, you said, so 9 deals, 90 days, so that comes out to about 36 transactions a year versus just my business plan that says, well, I've got 36 transactions to close over the next 12 months. My activities look way different. So it's about changing your thinking. And so we want to help you with that, with focus and the execution. So Deb, what should we do? You want to break down? Well, first of all, I'd like to open it. Anybody has any questions, let's talk about it. Or any comments of any kind.
Go ahead. I definitely have one. And I'm I talk about this a lot. So this morning I was reading the book again for the 3rd time, Fanatical Prospecting, right?
Yeah.
And right at the beginning, it says, Jeff is talking about, prospecting, being a fanatical prospector, right? He said, so what he said was people that are consistently prospecting are not as productive as people consistently prospecting with a plan. So I'm thinking about that. And Curtis and Debbie and DJ and I've been talking quite a bit about, our goals and stuff like that. And I'm like, holy cow. So the first thing I did this morning when I got in the office is I got my paper out and my notes, and I started writing my process for my prospecting daily. I have to have my calendar open. I have to have my drip campaigns open. I have to. So when you're prospecting and being the most productive, and by the way, the best way to grow a successful business is through your database and your nurtures. And I'm like, holy cow. So there's got to be a system in place. The initial contact isn't the winning component. It's the follow-up with the drip campaign and the CRM. We don't like CRMs. We don't like this. We don't like to do that. Well, guess what? Have a plan, put the CRM in place, let the CRM do the work for you, nurture and follow up, right? So the initial part is the prospecting, the fanatical prospecting part of it is the part that we put them into the systems. It's not, it's the initial part of the business. It's not, I didn't get, I called 100 people, I didn't get any business today. No, don't expect to get the immediate business from the immediate call. It's about the processes and the follow-up, the nurture, the drips, because the more you're in front of them, why do you think that, a Grant Cardone, a Tony Robbins, you guys are seeing their emails constantly, you're on your Facebook and it's rolling up in your face. And then finally you go, click, I'm going to that. Right. So you got to do the same thing. So I was hearing Debbie speaking and I'm like, the plan, what is your plan? By doing the activity is not the full plan. It's what are all the things that you need to do with that activity to be the most productive. So just wanted to share that.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's get some feedback. So let's use this imaginary person that we've talked about that wants to close. You said 33. I can do the math divided by 12, 36. Let's make it 36. It's just easier. That would make in 12 weeks, you've got to close
9.
Okay, right, 9. So you got to close 9. So if you had to close, well, put under contract. Let's talk about making sure we're recognizing. Let's just talk about getting them under contract. Yes, there's a delay. And towards the end of the year, we're going to have to accelerate in order to get everything closed by the end of the year. But let's just talk about this first 12 weeks. And let's mastermind if for this mythical, let's say it's you're mentoring an agent that last year did 12 transactions and this year their goal is 36 and you're mentoring them and you understand this framework of 12 weeks. And so you're helping this agent recognize they got to put 9 under contract in this first 12 weeks. Probably 10 because one will fall apart, but that's different. Let's just say the 9, because trust me, if you were 12 last year and your goal was 36 and you closed 32, you're doing the happy dance on December 31st. You're like, I missed my goal, but I closed 32. Woo, this is great. So what would you mastermind with this agent about the activities to close 9 transactions in the next 12 weeks? Let's throw out some ideas about actions that you could take that would facilitate that.
Hey, good morning. My name's Jamal. I'm new agent. How you doing?
Hi, Jamal.
Mentee.
No, did you get in
Morning.
today?
No, not today.
Then you
I
got to
joined-
stop saying that, Jamal. Then that's all. You're
already a seasoned agent.
a
Been
seasoned
greater
agent.
than 24 hours.
Here's what I
That's
like
fine.
to say. New agents all think they have new agents written on the thing. Jamal, what did you do before you did real estate?
Exactly. I was going to. I'm very seasoned. It's actually I'm a retired Navy veteran, 24 years.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
listen, so here's
yeah.
how you do it. When someone says how long you've been in real estate, what you
Mhm.
say is, you know what? I'm a retired Navy veteran and I
Mhm.
decided to use and I don't know if you did because you guys get discounts if you're in Florida to get your real estate license. But
Mhm.
anyways, and I
Yeah.
decided to take all the knowledge of being a Navy veteran and help people buy and sell homes.
Right, and that's exactly how I go. But I just want to tell you a
Awesome.
little bit about myself. 15 and 0 years, those years as a Navy recruiter. So I basically feel like I'm back on production calls every morning. I used to run 8:30 calls. I was the director of recruiting operations. I ran 200 recruiters. So it feels like I'm back on these calls, but it's nice to be on the other end, actually receiving instead of giving. And I don't know who mentioned Fanatical Military Recruiter. Great book. I used to make my recruiters read that book. So sense of urgency, yes. But I just wanted to touch on some of the things you guys are talking about when we talk about activities. Definitely, I always said, know the goal. For example, 36 closings. That's fine. But what can you do? Tangible is what you really need to focus on. It's tangible activities. I think someone on here kept saying activities, but it's really those tangible things. And when it comes down to when you break it down, you got to get in front of people and meet people and have that conversation. So I don't know about anyone else on here, but I know me, if a day goes by and I haven't talked to X amount of people, I feel some type of way. That's just me personally. Sense of urgency. Someone else, another coach on here said something about front loading. That's exactly the term that we live by, religion in Navy recruiting, military recruiting. If I have a goal of I need to put one person in the Navy a month, then you better be prospecting for 2 to 3. And it depends on conversion ratios. When I talk about conversion ratios, what can go wrong? If you want to get one closing this month, then you need to think about, well, what can happen? What can fall through? Maybe statistics for statistics. What do I need to do to ensure that I get that one closing? Do I need to have 3 on the pipe just in case something happens? I'm sure the conversion ratio is a lot higher, especially if they have good credit, et cetera, et cetera. But we need to be, yes, prospecting at that rate, front load. I like the 12 to 1, 12 weeks to 1 year. That's the mindset, fanatical mindset to get it done. So I'm geared to that. I can't help but every day I'm running up activities is I just talk to people, and I'm sure it'll come. I focus on the tangibles. Yes, the things I need to learn is this business and how to actually channel that, focus that, and to be successful. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Jamal, thanks for running the call. Stay
Who is
on.
that guy?
I know. Can we have him?
I
Oh,
love
you're our
that guy.
favorite.
Yes.
Yes.
Let him run this thing.
Who
That's
found
fine.
that
I'm
guy?
sorry.
Where'd
I'm
he come
sorry.
from?
Who?
He's the
Yes.
next rookie of the
You're
year.
awesome.
Hey, Bobby D. That's my mentor.
Bobby's awesome.
Bobby,
Yeah.
go find like 10 more of this guy.
That's right.
Or let Jamal, you go find 10 more of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no problem. I'm already working on some to get some agents in as well. So that's happening as well. So
Fantastic.
your
Well, welcome and thank you for all your feedback and input.
Yeah, Jamal, your foundation, and one of the things that I tell people all the time when they come into the real estate business or they're even in the real estate business, go back to what you used to do. There's no difference. It's just servicing a different product, right? And you just got to do the activities and the fanatical prospecting, and you used to have all your guys read that book. The most important, and that's where it hit me this morning again, is the prospecting is one thing, but are you prepared front loading? Are you preparing? Are you putting your tangible? So I took that tangible activities, right? So thank you for those. Yeah, that's awesome.
I think we should be recruiting recruiters, Navy recruiters. That's what
Yeah.
already on it. I was a recruiter in Tampa for 3 years. I was a recruiter here in Orlando for 4 years. So I'm already making contacts and meeting with them to get them onto the game as well. So yeah.
That's
Good
fantastic.
for you.
Tell them the money they make will change their lives, right? I brought on, as when I was running an office, I brought on a telemarketer to be an agent, right? So here's someone who's used to smile and dialing, right? Making calls. The kid, he was probably only 24 at the time, made over 100 grand. He's closed $4.3 million his first year in real estate. First year, didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do, but was fanatical about picking up the phone, pick up the phone, pick up the phone. And because that's what he did. He did it for 8 hours a day prior to becoming a real estate agent because he was a telemarketer working for a company. And 2021, he closed 40 million, right? So 2017 to 2021 is 4 years. What's the math on 40 million?
1.2.
1.2 million, right? Now he's got a team, so he's paying out some of that commission, but in 4 years. So Jamal, make sure that you're casting that big vision for the people that you're speaking with, because the potential for someone who understands how to prospect is a really rapid, right? Because it does. And by the way, he didn't know anything. He didn't know scripts. He didn't know what to say, but day one, he's on the phone. Hi, can I help you buy or sell real estate, right? And he learned the scripts as he went, right? He got better by taking the action. So this is a very fast path for someone who understands how to prospect. It's very, 1 year to 6 figures and 2 years to, 300, 400 grand. Right? It accelerates so rapidly for someone that knows how to prospect, that should be an easy close for you, Jamal.
Absolutely. Like we say in the Navy, as soon as I get my sea legs, I guess I'll say my realtor legs, then I'm sure I'm off and running. So
Yeah.
I just need to learn the basics, the rules, and the do's and
Listen,
the
you
don'ts,
only
how to
need
go
to know
about. Yep.
the tangible activities, Jamal, and you're doing them. That's all you need.
Mhm.
All the other stuff you will pick up along the way. You have this group to help and support you on where do I get my contract? How do I get it filled out? Where do I do all that stuff? You have resources and support for that. What's important is the tangible activities. So we have number one.
I was just gonna say, so let's throw it out there. We're talking about tangible activities. Let's make sure there's
Yes.
clarity around that for some of those who may be on the phone or on this Zoom that aren't aware of them. So I'm gonna open it up. There's 5 of them for a real estate agent. Where do we start?
So one we have is the number of conversations that you have every day. That's number one.
Lead gen.
Lead gen.
What's number 2? Anyone?
Database.
Well, that'd still be
Database.
part of lead gen. Lead follow-up. So number 1 is lead generation. Number 2 is lead follow-up. Yes. Number 3,
Write contracts.
go on a point. Well, yes, that's in there. Thank you. Which is negotiate deals or write contract. What else? Go on appointments. I won't leave you hanging. Yep, somebody said it. Thank you, Allie. Go on appointments. And the last one, number 5 is
Scripts and role play.
Claire Autry.
Claire
You're
for
my-
the win.
Yeah, for the win. Bringing it home for us. Thank you, Claire. So I'll repeat it real quick. Lead generation, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. That's right, Bill Bliss, and scripts and role play. There you go. So that's what we build our plan around.
Now, other than number of conversations that you can do every day, what else creates opportunity to have conversations besides just conversations? Because many of us do a lot of other things, right? We don't just have one-to-one or personal conversation or text conversation. We do other things. What other things could we do that would encourage or give us more opportunity to write a contract?
I like to say being present, being aware, creating awareness, like community involvement, just clubs, committees, things like that. Because I always used to say, if you appear to be a headhunter, meaning that all you're interested in is, getting a close, and people sense that. So just being genuine, being aware, being present, and everything else will fall in place.
I love that. We call that commission breath, Jamal. If you've
Okay.
got commission breath, the people you're speaking to will smell it.
Interesting.
Yeah. What about, for instance, adding people to your database, right? As a goal, right? Not only is to have conversations, but to have a weekly goal of the number of people that you might add to your database. Would that contribute to more closings? Jamal's nodding. Thank you, Jamal.
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, I was just curious. One of the things, so I have all my people in the database, but then like most of it's just maybe a phone number or maybe nothing, maybe like nothing, you know, and I've just utilized them via Facebook. What's the best way? I've heard like maybe doing like a MailChimp type questionnaire or something on the Facebook where like, hey, do you want to be a part of my internal group or something, my sphere, then fill out XYZ. Basically, my question is, what's the best way to capture their info? You know, phone number, email, whatever you're missing. What are some ideas that are kind of just a list of ideas?
I'm going to share the best, fastest way. I was a Facebook friend with a realtor that was up in Illinois. And she sent me a personal message on my birthday week, right? Or about a week before my birthday. She must be going on to Facebook and looking what the upcoming birthdays were going to be. She sent me a personal message and said, hey, I love to send out birthday cards. It's like my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world. Could you send me if you send me your address, I'll send you a birthday card. By the way, I've gotten a birthday card from her every year for 5 years now. So it's not, we're always looking for leverage on how to do it at scale. Open up your CRM this morning, look at the A's, look at the missing information you have with the people that show up first in your CRM, and call them, message them, whatever piece of information you have. If they're only Facebook friends, jump on Facebook and make a commitment to do X number a day, 5. I'm going to do 5 a day. I'm going to start with the A's. I'm going to do 5 a day. I'm going to find out what the missing information is: name, phone number, spouse's name, email, potential address. And I'm going to see if there's a way that I can get that information. Now, maybe you have a name and a phone number. In that case, it's a call. Hey, I was looking through the people that I have relationships with, and I have just your phone number, but I get some really great information from time to time, and I'd love to be able to have your email. So you're calling that person. If you only have the email, you're emailing that person. And if you only have a name, you're figuring out where you got that name from. And it might be from Facebook. You're going onto Facebook. And if you did 5 a day, that's 25 a week. That's 100 a month. That is 1,200 people at the end of this year that you've asked for contact information. Some people are going to say, I don't know who you are. I'm not giving you my information. Fine. But let's say it's 1,000 people you now have complete information for. It's wonderful to be able to get some leverage and get everything at once, but you don't further the relationship when you do that. If you do it one by one every day and just say, okay, part of my 12-week year, my goal is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 25 times 4 is 100. 300, my goal in my 12-week year is to have 300, is to contact 300 people and ask for missing information. And now I put this on my daily to-do list. Now I'm going to do 5 a day. And then in a month or in 90 days, you'll have asked 300 people.
There you go.
But you might not get, maybe only 250 give you additional information. That's all right. But that's good to know too, that these 25 people or 50 people, I don't have a relationship with those people. So I'm not going to get business from them because they said no, or they did not give me their email or their phone number. Good to know that these 250 are important, that I can nurture. Now I can call them periodically and I can get business from them. And maybe these 50 that didn't respond go into a quieter list until you get more information. Does that make sense, Holly? Yeah, that's the most effective way. She must do that for everybody that's in her Facebook group. Like guess what? She's a real estate agent. She's looking for referrals in her town. And if she sends me a birthday card and wish me happy birthday every year, maybe if I ever have a referral there, I'll think of her. Awesome. So there's something, right? So there's an activity for our 12-week year, is completing information in our database. So we have Jamal's recommendation, which is number of conversations you have every day. We have Holly's recommendation, which is set a number to complete data on X amount of people in your CRM a day. What else could we do to get our 9 closings in 90 days? Hey, Mateo, I see your hand up.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Three Wise Men. I hope that you receive a gift. If you have been good this year, you receive a gift this morning. If not, you have your answer right there. So I'm going to say that I have 3 goals for this year. One is doing open houses. And we know that open houses are going to be big, but you need a lot of preparation for them, right? I'm doing my door knocking, I'm doing my door hangers, I'm doing my Facebook ads, targeting that neighborhood 5 miles around. I'm doing video. I'm doing everything that I can do to help my open houses get more exposure. The second one that I have, my second goal is follow up. You already mentioned it, it's essential. My follow up was lacking. Right now, it's one of my main goals. And the third one is become the real estate mayor of the city. I love making videos. I love the spotlight. So I'm gonna take my, what I feel comfortable with and explore it for real estate. So I'm going to go to different owners, like small business owners, talk to them, give them exposure, and for restaurants around the city, showing what is important in a town. So they know that I'm the real estate mayor and they know me and they understand that I'm the expert in the area. Mm-hmm.
I love that. Very clear, Mateo. So just to recap what you said is open houses. That is absolutely. So far we have number of conversations you're having every day, number of people that you would add to your database or get completed information that will also help you. Because by the way, while you're communicating with these people asking for information, they're remembering that you're a real estate agent and that can spur conversations about real estate. And then open houses. So maybe you have I'm going to do an open house every weekend, or I'm going to do 2 a month, right? The question is, here's the thing that I want you to think about. Whatever you choose for your activities for 12 weeks, at the end of those 12 weeks, you get to look at your results and say, did these activities? And the first 12 weeks you do it, you don't know if the activities you choose are going to create the results you want. But at the end of that first 12 weeks, you get to sit back and say, okay, I talked to 10 people a day, 5 days a week, and I did it. I'm going to give myself, I did it 90%. So I was pretty good at execution on that. I'm going to add 5 people a day to my database or try to get completed information. I did 90% on that. Maybe it wasn't 5 every day, but if you're looking over the whole time, I did 90% of that activity. So I executed really well. And then I'm going to do 4 open houses a month. Well, I really didn't do so well there. I averaged about 2 open houses a month. So if our goal was 4, that would have been 12. If I only did 6, that's not a passing grade, right? So now you get to sit back and say, where did my business come from? What results did I get? And is this plan the plan that will get me to my goal? So the beauty of this is in a very short period of time, if you have a 12-month goal, you don't really know till October that your goal isn't going to work and you're not going to get there, and you don't have enough time to adjust it. But if you make these 4 different sections of 12 weeks, you get a very quick assessment about whether those activities are getting you to your goal, and you get to make a modified plan for the second 12 weeks, right? So we have open houses, one-on-one conversations, completing information in your database. What other activities can lead to a closing? Well, how y'all get your business? Where do you get your business from?
Well, and Deb, it's a closing. Remember, it's in our example, right? Our goal was 36. which is 3 a month, which is, 9 closings over the next 12 weeks, that you came down to 1 every 10 days. Guys, think about 1 in 10 days. If I had to go and get something under contract in the next 10 days, what actions would I take? That I think, let's not miss that it's getting, really focused and serious. It's, I could do an open house, but is an open house going to get me something under contract in the next 10 days? And I'm not saying don't do an open house. It's not what I'm saying, but is that going to get me a contract or something under contract next 10 days? Probably not. Probably not. Could, probably not. But what could get me a contract, something under contract in the next 10 days?
I like Nikki says she likes hanging out at a bar at a cool restaurant. Listen, let me tell you something. I had my biggest mega in my office when I ran a big office down in Inglewood, my biggest mega. So, I say the biggest mega. Inglewood's price point is pretty small. She might have been a 40 or $50 million producer. She was my biggest mega. For a lot of areas, that's not really, that's big, but a lot of people doing way more than that. Honest to God, not sure if she was an alcoholic, but every night she would go to a bar restaurant out on Minnesota Key. By the way, big, beautiful luxury houses and condos out on Minnesota Key. She went every night to the bar. And some nights, many nights, she had a little bit too much to drink. But that was her lead gen, because tourists, visitors, locals, there was only 2 big bars and restaurants on Minnesota Key. So you only had 1 or 2 places to go if you weren't leaving the Key. She literally built her business and got to know everyone in the town by going to that bar every night. Now, it's not what I'm recommending, but Nikki, that is not an unreasonable expectation to go, because it puts you in front of people. It'll put you in front of regulars, because we're in Florida. It'll put you in front of tourists. She literally did it 7 days a week. And she closed
7 days a week. I give her so much credit, but honestly, some of my best leads have come from that. And there's a sales book that says, friends first, sales later. And if you get to just talking to somebody and build rapport with them, then that's the big kicker. And those are some of my best clients that I've had, is just people that we've become friends with. And that's when my fiance and I get to also hang out with each other, and we go in and we enjoy talking to other people at different places. And we're in Palm Beach. So, the options of the different places and the clientele you can run into is huge. So now those have also become, like, we consider them lifelong friends. We'll go to dinner with these clients all the time because that's what we enjoy doing. And it's just much more comforting business to do too, when it's somebody you have a good relationship with, that you built.
If you're having a couple of drinks sitting next to someone in the bar, I love you, man. You're like instant BFFs.
For
everybody.
Sure. And then the follow up the next day, and like they don't expect it, and you're good to go.
Yeah. So listen, there's lots of ways to, the question is what puts you in front of more people? Holly mentioned she doesn't like to do open houses. I didn't like to do open houses unless it was my listing. Because to me, and yes, if you go and door knock and do it the way Mateo does, it is absolutely a mega opportunity. But to me, it felt passive. Yes, I'm knocking doors. Yes, I'm putting out 50 signs. Yes, I'm running ads, but I'm sitting for 3 hours and waiting for people to come to me. I'd rather go. I wanted to do the door knocking and then not sit the open house. I wanted to go be out there and talking to people. But for those, so you don't have to have open houses as part of your lead gen. If you're going to do it though, you got to do it like Mateo and increase the opportunity. If I said to you, you need to get a buyer that's ready to go look at property in the next 10 days, this weekend, and you can only do an open house, how would you do that open house differently than the way you might do them, right? You are going to knock doors. You are going to put door hangers. You are going to post on social media and run ads. If you had to get a buyer that was ready to look at property in 10 days. So you don't have to do any of these things, but you have to pick your poison. How are you going to What activities are you going to choose to focus on over the next 12 weeks that's going to allow you to hit your goal? Awesome. And I see both Joan and Lizette. I don't know who raised their
There you
hand
go.
first. Either one, unmute. Yeah. Joan?
Sorry,
or-
it takes me a
yeah,
while to unmute.
Okay.
Hi there. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I do want to say, and again, when I say something, I just want to clarify that I say this to the people I love. Sometimes, you know, we're all working on the same things, but I think that when we're thinking about is asking the right questions, are the things, you know, we're having a lot of meetings with other realtors, hanging out, and I see that, for example, other burrito, they're hanging out, they're going on training, but, and they're like, well, I don't have any buyers, I'm not making any money. But where, you know, you have to start asking the right questions. If I were looking to buy a home, where would I be? Where would I be looking? Where would I be available to realtors? You know, I've given this idea. I tell this to people all the time. Facebook Marketplace, take a listing from EXP. The one thing I love about 100% idea, it's funny. One thing I like about EXP is that I don't have to ask permission to take a listing because it's the broker listing. I could put that on Facebook Marketplace. Every time I post my own listing, I don't even post any, but I get tons of people asking questions. So they're buyers. Right? And you put them on groups like Sanford groups, listing groups, you know, you put it, those are direct contact with buyers. So it's asking the right questions. A lot of time, you know, we get caught up in the, you know, hanging out, doing this and that, and it's great unless you're trying to there's another reason for doing that. But if you're looking for buyers and sellers, you need to go where they're at.
You do need that. That's a great tip. And Lizette, you know, I use the analogy. You can overhear a buyers if you're at Starbucks in a restaurant, you'll hear buyers, but you rarely hear homeowners saying, honey, I'm thinking about selling our home. They don't tend to have those conversations out in public. But if you knock on someone's door and said, hey, my goal is to help 25 families sell their home this year, you will run across someone that says, oh my God, we were just talking about it yesterday. So sellers tend to only talk about selling in their homes. So you've got to meet them there. So farming, postcards, community events, you got to meet people to find out if they're sellers. Buyers will talk about it at Starbucks. Honey, I can't wait to go look at property. And you go, what? Oh, you're looking at property? Oh, I help people buy homes. So I love that, Lizette. You got to go where the people are.
Hey, Deb, let's see if Joan, do you want to make a comment?
Yeah.
Yes. So I just have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We got you.
Okay. So, okay, you're out, you meet people, you get they're like, great, you know, get in touch, like you get their information. What are the next steps to like further the relationship so that you're in a position where you're like, do you know anyone buying, selling, renting? Like how do you, like, what's the process involved? Because I think it's easy to meet people and it's easy to like, oh, here, let's change Instagrams, let's exchange phone numbers and let's stay in touch. Like, what's the process of moving the ball forward?
I'd like to jump in on that. And here's Joan, again, the first chapter of Fanatical Prospect, and Jamal will probably smile on this, is you got the initial part done. Now it's getting in front of them consistently through emails, text messages. And if they're on your social media, posting positive things, never negative. Here's the thing. You want to post negative stuff. If any of you know me and you want to post negative stuff and defriend me, don't worry about it. I'll unfriend you. Okay. I'm not going to be around negativity because the more positive stuff you put out there, the more people are going to see you. Right. So Joan, as soon as you get them, drip on them, text them, call them, social media, and not hound them, but don't be afraid to get in front of them 2-3 times a week. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So I put down here, I made a note and I put a bunch of stars beside it. The biggest missed opportunity, right? So Ariel put calls, right? It is so critical this year that if you don't want to pick up your phone, you may be looking at sending resumes into Teams. Do that, okay? Because honestly, you're not gonna succeed in this business. Get on the phone. Now, I'm not saying call for sale by owners expired. Call your past clients. Hey, just checking in. Tell me. All right. So we talk about this. Debbie talks about it. Curtis, George. No one is asking for referrals when they represent the customer. So in the book, Fanatical Prospecting, he said when he consults a business, the first thing he says is, how many people asked for referrals in the last week? No one raised their hand. Last month, no one raised their hand. First quarter, 1. First year, 3. How awful is that of us as salespeople all right, I just want to, I'm going to put this out there. I'm getting excited.
Tom's getting fired up, everybody.
Come on, Tom, keep going.
Who out there, when they meet a customer, says, I give the best service out there and they deliver great service? Who does it? We all say that, right? 100% of the hands go up. Same thing in the book. Every hand goes up when he says, I deliver the best service and I take care of my customer. Well, if you take care of your customer, why aren't you asking for a darn referral? You missed it. Why don't you do this? Send me every closed transaction you've done and let me call and ask for referrals and sell the property. Ask for a referral. You deserve it. The book, 7 Levels of Communication with Michael Mayer, he says, ask for referrals. The Promise with Mike Hicks, amazing guy, sells 500 homes a year. He's a country guy, lives in the mountains. He asked for 5 referrals at minimum on every single sale, and 2 to 3 of those end up in more sales. So if you don't have an action plan to put into a system for your closing to ask for referrals, you won't ask because you're going to forget.
Yeah.
Put a system, put a plan in place to ask for referrals. Now that we got to closing, I want to thank you for everything. How I'm rated on my success and performance is how many referrals you give me. So 5-star, which means I'll get 5 referrals. 1-star, I didn't give you the best service, so you're only going to give me 1 referral. I don't know, make it a game. But if you don't ask, you lose.
Yeah.
Don't even bother following up with them. You missed out. No, call them.
Hey, Joan, I want to just get back to Joan's question. So Joan, if you meet someone new, here's a great thing that you can do as a follow-up offer. Hey, Bob and Mary, gosh, it was so great meeting you last night. I'm so excited about your Instagram page. I'm excited to follow new people. My profession is real estate, and the real estate market right now is really wonky, right? Interest rates go up, buyers are pulling back, sellers. And I'm just wondering, did you have any questions about real estate that I might be able to answer for you? Because I'd love to be a resource in case you had any questions about real estate. Very easy. Casual. And by the way, everybody's got a question about real estate. Everybody. Well, do you think interest rates are going to go up? It's a really great question. I'm not really sure. Do you have any buying or selling needs? Do you think we're going to lose value in our homes? That's really a great question. Hey, would you like me to do a quick analysis? Look, no obligation. I'm not asking for it. Would you like me to do a quick analysis of your home? I'd love to be able to send that. I do it all day, every day, and I'd love to be able to do it for friends.
So do you suggest calling them or texting them?
Oh, wait, well, it depends how, if the conversation was super friendly, I'd call, because most people will text. I'd call and say, hey, thanks so much. Even if you get that, hey, thanks so much it was so great meeting you, blah, blah. If it was a little bit more casual, then I might text them, or maybe I only got their Instagram. So I'm going to direct message them. Hey, so great meeting you yesterday. You're such a cool person, and I might not, if I don't call them, I might not text, hey, I answer real estate questions. But the second conversation I will. It depends. And you're going to have to use your intuition, Joan, about when you can, the goal of every conversation is to steer the conversation towards real estate. And the more practice you do that, the better you get at it. And the easier becomes to saying, hey, I'm getting a lot of questions from all my friends about real estate because it's so wonky. Did you have any questions? I'd love to be able to answer them for you. But you'll know whether, always call. Here's the preference. Call, number 1. Text, number 2. direct message is actually 3, and then email would be number 4. It depends on what information you get. You know?
Right.
Hey, Coach Debbie, I just want to say I appreciate you saying that in short form, which what I got out of it, what you're saying, you should always bring value to people. So if you can't bring value to people, then you shouldn't be asking for referrals, whatever that value may be. And I think you mentioned it earlier about, hey, even if they own a home, would you like to see what your valuations are like, or what potential what the comps are like for your home in your area, whatever that value may be. And I always use this term throughout my Navy recruiting career. We use this term, we throw it around. It's called psychological reciprocity. And what that means is if you do something for someone, more likely they will return the favor. So if you bring value to people, then referral asking should just come, should be easy.
Coach Debbie, I wanted to add something. I even turned my camera on so that you could see me for once. I wanted to give an example. We were out with a couple that we're just getting very friendly with. And I know they own a house in my community and their son's living in there right now. And he's looking for a home because he needs to move out. And so I started asking questions, and I said, oh, does he have a friend that's a realtor? And she said, well, somebody, the person who helped them find this house, I guess they were working with. And so I started to ask questions and bring value to the conversation, because they started to say how, they're going to have to help them and the interest rates are so high. And, so I started to talk to them about buy downs, and they weren't even aware of that. So like I gave, knowledge to them that they can see that I am an agent that knows what she's talking about. And then the next morning, I sent a text to her, the mother, and I said, what a wonderful time we had with you. And, we have so much in common and blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to let you know that, EXP, our mortgage company, is giving a $1,500 credit to anybody that buys a home through us and uses them for a mortgage. I said, maybe that will help your son, and if he doesn't feel that obligated toward who he's working with so far, he hasn't seriously started looking, I'd be happy to set up a search for him and help him, find the right house. And she said, that would be wonderful. Tonight when he comes home, I'm going to talk to him and his wife and see how they feel about that. I would love for them to work with you. So again, it was adding value. I saw that credit in workplace. I wasn't even aware of it before that, but that night when I came back, I saw that and I thought, well, this is a good hook for them and or for anybody that's looking for a home. So that's what I did. So I'm hoping today that I get good news that they'll want to work with me.
I love that. Good job, Lori. And you know what? You help people until they say yes. And right. I see both Lizette and Heather. You just help them. And she might come back and say, they've already looked at a house with her. They already signed an agreement, but you never lose when you help people, because whether that turns into a sale or not, when your mission is to help people, you will find business for sure.
Exactly.
So I see both Lizette and Heather have their hand up.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on there's a lot of layers of, like you've mentioned at the beginning of, their goals. And Tom hit on something that, we get so caught up. That's why it's so important to have a vision and write it and, do a vision board and do a weekly recap of what you're doing every week. Is your schedule reflecting your vision or what you're getting to? Because right now we get so caught up on everything else, social media, politics and all that. And the thing is, and I'm only saying this, I just recently, my son at cemetery. I don't want anybody to get sad. This is not a sad post. It's not to be. I just want to say every year on January 5th, I have a reality check because I already have a space where I'm going to be buried. I actually visit my own gravesite every single year because it is separated by the military for me and my husband next to my son. And I'm only saying this because at the end of the day, it reminds me that I do all year for my children. You know, the bigger picture, all these little things in between really don't matter. When you leave this earth, you're not taking none of that. Nobody's going to remember and care, you know, all the other stuff that we got so caught up with. What's going to be left behind is what you've built and the memory and the legacy you've left others of yourself and who you were.
Thank you, Lisette. Heather, did you have a comment or want to share something? You're muted, Heather. There you go.
It said the host muted me, so I didn't know what was happening.
That's Tom pushing buttons that he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah.
I just wanted to share, I'm up in Minnesota and we have had like, I don't know, 5 feet of snow over the last couple days. And so what my husband and I did is we went out, and most of our neighbors know we're realtors, but we have some elderly neighbors. And so we went out and snowblowed about 4 or 5 different people's houses, and they came out and they were like, can we give you any gas money or anything? And we chatted for a bit, and I said, no, it's just neighborly. And then I said, well, actually, if you know anybody looking to buy or sell, we'd much rather have the referral. And that's kind of what we put out there. And all of them said, oh, definitely. So, I mean, it's just something to do.
Awesome.
Anything else, Curtis?
I do. So I want to reel it back in for 1 second. All great ideas, all great things. I'm glad that people are making, adjustments to their business. Some are, going the extra mile, providing value, getting referrals, doing all the things. And they're all incredible ideas. And yet I still want to reel it back into this idea of are we taking the necessary actions and activities to do the, and have, utilizing this 12-week concept. And I don't know that we are, which is why we brought it to everybody today. And so real quick, and we kind of started down that path, but I want to go down that path. We're still on the call and we're like 6 minutes over, but I want to change or have everybody really think about this concept and then go look at their business plans to see, are they going to support me getting to where I want to go or meeting my goals for 2023. I truly believe this is the year of focus and execution. We can no longer do just ride it by the seat of our pants or whatever. It doesn't matter what the market does. If we do this, it won't matter what the market does, because a plan like this will allow us to shift, right? Or pivot very quickly and do things differently if whatever we're doing is not working. So I'd like to ask somebody for 1 minute if they could tell me what's their goal for the year. Anybody? Because I'd like to take somebody's and sort of break it down. Takers? Units. I just want a unit goal.
32. Curtis, it's Lethea. And
Thank you,
that's
Lethea.
this is my second year and I closed 7 my first one. So go ahead. I want to hear it.
All right, so 32. So that is how many a month? Let's do some math, right? And I'll do it if you're driving or something.
Finishing my makeup because I got to meet at 10.
Perfect. So you're at 2.6. So that's 2.6 per month. Well, we can't do a half of a unit, right? So let me actually break it down. So you got 32. Let's divide that. Let's do it by 4 quarters, right? So that's 8. So you got to do 8 over the next 12 weeks. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. How you doing in January? What are you going to close in January?
It'll make me cry in public.
No crying.
Okay. So far, I'm working rentals right now. So I really got to kind of teary away from that. But
Okay.
I'm working on 2 rentals at the moment.
Okay.
It's 0, to be honest.
Okay, perfect. So here's the deal. It's okay. That's just math. There's no reason to cry, whatever, think about it. It's just math and just numbers. And so, and we'll get some clarity around it because they say clarity is power, right? So, so we got 8 deals that you'd like to, 8 deals is really where you need to be on track to hit your goal for the year. So we got 8 deals over the next 12 weeks, right? And if we took that, we broke it down even further. So we've got, basically it's 2 closing. Wait, hang on. Ain't.
3 closings a month and 1 can fall out.
There you go. So then I asked, right, like, so if we're looking at that, we got 3 closings over the next 3 months and 1 can fall out, but wait a minute, I'm a little bit behind because excuse me, Alethea, you're probably not the only one. I went and met with all my loan officers yesterday and same deal, they're behind.
Yeah, I
And
had the
think-
flu, so I'm happy we're talking about this because DJ brought
Yeah.
it up. I had
Yeah.
the flu that knocked me out for a little over 6 days. I mean, physically could not do nothing. So
Sure.
yes, you're right. It was like, holy guacamole, I'm behind. What do I
Yeah.
got to do today?
And my guess is that my gut is telling me that most people are. Most people that I've spoken with are, because whatever you were going to close in January, that needed to be under contract in December, maybe even
Yeah.
November, right? And or you had to be working on it, and you just said you were out of commission for a little bit. And so, a lot of people had some great Decembers, but they did not set themselves up for January. And so now they're behind. And so we're either going to play catch up the rest of the year, or we're going to get this under control right now in the first quarter. And so thinking about that, you need to go back, break it down like this. So now I've got 8 that I'm focused on over the next 12 weeks. All right. So we know January, you're probably not going to close anything. Of course, you're going to get a couple of deals in a contract as far as rentals and stuff like that's concerned, but we were talking about actual purchase and sale, right?
Yep.
So you've got 8. So now we got to look at 4 in February and 4 in March. Go back and look at your business plan. Actually, you don't even have to look at your business plan. Write a new one for the next 4 quarters and determine and decide that if I'm going to close these 8 transactions over the next 2 months, what do I have to do right now? And this is, my friends, this is where I think we're all missing it a little bit. We need to get into massive action on the things that matter the most and forget about everything else. All the other things are important, but thinking about it, because y'all all had some incredible ideas. They are. But the reality is it comes down to the number of conversations that we are having on a daily basis, talking about real estate. Decide what that looks like for you. It could be different for all of you. Go to the bar, just make sure you talk to whatever it takes to 30 people. Then you got to go meet every single person in that bar. Maybe that bar doesn't even have enough people in it. You got to go to another bar. Whatever it is. But it is the number of conversations about real estate on a daily basis is what it comes down to hit these numbers that you guys want to hit. And go look and build out a plan for that and do it for just these next 12 weeks. And you got to measure it on a weekly basis. Is it working? Is it not working? When you do that, you'll set yourself up for a successful 2023, but we have to start right this very second. And so we had to get real about our numbers, Alethea. Thank you for being vulnerable. But this is what it looks like, guys. I know we want to post on social media. We want to do all these things and add all these things to our business plans for the year. And they're all important and they're incredible. And we can do that when we know that we're on track to hit our stuff. Again, it comes down to the conversations. If you fear picking up the phone, I'm sorry, but pick up the phone. Pick it up or go stand in front. I know a guy that stood in front of Target and met people when they came in all day long because he had a baby coming and a new wife and all sorts of stuff when he got into real estate. So he went and stood in front of Target and just met all the people that came in and handed out his business card. Do whatever you got to do, but it's conversations about real estate. Just saying, Deb.
Yeah, just that is absolutely it. The key though is tracking. So if your number is 10 a day, 5 days a week, at the end of the week, you have to know, did I hit 10? Not kind of, I think I did. I'm not really sure. You have to know because now you might need to adjust, right? The ultimate success for it is create a plan, get into action, measure what you're doing, and then reassess the results, right? And then maybe make a different plan. So at the end of that week, if it was 10 a day and you spoke to 50 people this week about real estate, now you have to say, what were my results? Did I get a buyer or seller that's looking to buy or sell in the next 90 days? Maybe I did. Maybe I got 3 buyers, but they're buying in the fall. So that actually did not get me any opportunity to work with the buyer or seller right now. So now I got to look in the mirror, right? Accountability is the courage to look in a mirror and ask yourself, did your activities help you get closer to your goal? It's not a judgment thing. It's not a negative thing. It's simply a question. Did the activities I do get me closer to my goal? And if they didn't, then 10 conversations, there's two things. 10 conversations might not be enough. The quality of your conversation might not be strong enough. And that's where that number 5 that Curtis talked about, which is scripts and role play. You know, of those 10 conversations, did I talk about real estate every single one? And if I talked about real estate every single one, did I have an opportunity to ask for business? Because it might not be that the number was off, but the quality of the conversation was off. But the only one that can figure that out is you. And so if both were off, A, I didn't hit my 10, and B, my quality was off. Week 2, I'm going to, because guess what? Your quality isn't going to improve in 1 week. So week 2, I'm going to say, how do I set up scripts and role play that I can get better at my conversations? And I might need to have 20 conversations a day because my quality in my conversation isn't good enough yet. But you know very quickly in 1 week, did my actions move me towards my goal? And maybe you didn't have the 10 and you said, you know what? I didn't take this serious enough. I only had 5 a day. I've got to do better. So what am I going to do this week to ensure that I have 10? But every week you're going to get feedback about whether your activities are moving you closer to your goal or not. You might have to double the number of conversations in the beginning part of your 12 weeks because your quality of conversation isn't strong enough. But as that gets better, you might not need 20 to hit your goal. You might be able, 10 is enough to hit my goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, who'd you ask? Oh, Deb's got a coffee delivered.
I got my coffee boy here refilling my coffee, and he was standing at the door saying, would you like more coffee? I'm like, oh my God, I love you. You're my favorite. Yes.
$5, please.
$5.
Does anybody have any? I just wanted to leave it with that. And so I'm glad we were able to wrap up with that. And I know we went over our time, and thank you all for whoever's still here. And yet I just thought this was uber important to talk about. You know, again, focus and execution. My word for the year is that it's execution. I've struggled with it over the past year, and, you know, us bringing this 12-week year concept to you, which is not our concept, it's something we read. I thought this is the perfect thing that I think that my clients and the folks that I'm talking to need to help them get back on track, and to stay on track and to finish strong, or to have an incredible 2023. Forget about all the rest, but just to have simply an incredible 2023 in real estate, because we know that it will be an incredible market for many, and for others, not so much. And it doesn't have to be that way. It can be incredible for all. So focus and execution. And remember, where focus goes, energy flows, right? And so good things happen. And if you get into massive action is the cure-all, right? Like massive action is the cure-all for everything. We know that when we get into massive action, we've all done it before, get on the phone. We got that day where we say, oh, I'm just going to go pound the phone. And we do, and we actually pound the phone. How good we feel at the end of the day and what starts to show up in the weeks to come, right? So that's the whole idea behind this. And again, we want to support all of you and for you to be successful this year. And my God, I got to do some things different. So focus and execution for me.
Hey, Curtis, can we challenge everyone who's up to the challenge to come to next week's call with their 12-week action plan? We're not going to call you out. We're not going to make you share it. However, as a coach, I know that when working with agents and helping them create plans like this all the time, sometimes the plans that get created are good and they can be improved. So if you have the courage to create a 12-week plan for yourself, we might ask for some volunteers next week. Anyone that might be courageous to say, will you look at my plan and tell me if this is going to help me get to where I want to go? We might be able to actually coach you through making sure your plan is robust and is going to help you hit your goals.
Yeah, so you know what? And I'm glad you brought that up, Deb. And, you know, there's still a whole bunch of people on this phone call. And I don't know if all of you guys know George or anything. Some of you might, you've heard the name or whatever. Here's the hard truth. we got onto a phone call with George the other day, and it was sort of a catch up of sorts and that kind of thing, but started asking him about his goal and what some of his plans were for the year. And actually, I'll tell you what happened was a lot of the plans that he had on his that he had in mind were not going to help him hit the goal that he wanted, and he didn't know that. It's not that he didn't know that, because he's super smart as it is, but he couldn't see that. And so then when we talked to him about it and we talked him through it, he's like, oh my gosh, I don't really need to do this because this is not going to help me hit my goal. And so he went back and he revamped some things. So I just want to share with you, even folks that we think, we all can't see, oftentimes, whatever the favorite comment is, we can't see the label from inside the box. And that's just really about talking about, we've all got these blinders, and what we think may work may not, or may not be enough, or whatever. So that's what Debbie's alluding to. So anyway, thanks for that, Deb.
And that's not to say that the other things on his plan weren't important and don't still need to get completed, because they do. They're just not the things that would help him hit his goals, right?
Correct.
And so rethinking that's the benefit of a coach, is having someone help you, figure out. Someone said, do we have examples?
We do have a example.
We have an example, the one from the real estate. We'll ask Tiffany or Tom or whoever does the emailing out to send this example out for a real estate agent. But having somebody help you think about the problem and help you, at the end of 1 week when you're off track, figure out what to do differently. That's the benefit of having an accountability group or a coach help you hit your goals, right? That's why people who have coaches hit their goals. Like 78% of them hit their goals or get very close that have a coach, because it's a weekly sort of assessment about, are the activities I'm doing helping me hit my goals?
Perfect. We went like way over in time. I don't want, you guys are supposed to be having happy hour and stuff.
Hey, Curtis, the small little PDF that Robin sent us yesterday, is that something that would be helpful for the agents to?
It was pretty good. I don't think unless somebody is coaching to it or talking about it or whatever, it's as helpful. I thought about, thanks for bringing it up. I actually thought about that as well. It had a couple of good bullet points, but as I read through it a couple of times, I was like, well, unless you're standing there sort of presenting this, I think some of the, you still have to understand the book, and it didn't really sort of break it down. So
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But now that we've actually talked about it, and this sort of idea and the intention, because I'm doing this with my loan officers and stuff, and the others that I coach, I'm talking about it for the next 3 weeks. So today and for the next 3 weeks. And our intention was to do that with this call as well. So we'll send out this example for an agent on a 12-week year. We'll have Tiffs do it. And we'll keep talking about it maybe for the next couple of weeks, so that everybody's got this. I just want everybody to hit their goals. I just want everybody to be on track, have incredible lives and a great year.
And Deb, could you, we still, and this is incredible, we still have over 50 people on the call. What great contribution from a lot of folks today. Deb, could you put in the link for the free coaching consultation as well, if anybody's interested in that, or do you have that link?
I don't know. Curtis, do you have that link?
Yeah, I'll go dig it up. Will you answer the question for Claire?
Well, let me see. Claire, question, utilizing the 411 on a week. Yeah. Which I might need to review with my coach, right? Yeah, so if you're using a tool or a plan or something that is helping you stay accountable to your actions, Claire is referencing the 411, which many of us are familiar with what that is. 411 is a focusing tool to help you focus on the activities that are going to help you hit your goals every day. And then, yes, the question was, if I utilize that on a weekly and monthly basis, is there a benefit to review with the coach? Absolutely. Whether you use like an Excel spreadsheet that says, here's my activities, and then every day you're tracking about whether you're doing it or not, reviewing it with a coach can see things that you can't see, right? And a coach helps you overcome the blind spots that hold you back and helps you overcome the limiting beliefs that hold you back from taking the action, right? Here's the action I want to take. At the end of the week, I didn't take it. What got in the way? And a coach helps you unpack that stuff so that you can figure out where your gaps are and how to move forward. So yes, reviewing a 411 or any other sort of action plan with your coach weekly helps you do that. Curtis just dropped a link in the chat for a free strategy call with one of us coaches. If you fill that out, there's no charge. If you fill that out, if you want to create your 12-week plan and have us kind of look over that with you, go ahead and book a free strategy call, and we're happy to do that with you.
Got it. And Deb, I don't know if you were on mute or whatnot. We'll send over that template or example of 12-week year for.
I just emailed it to Tom and Tiffany. Don't know who's the one that sends it out. I didn't have a URL to post.
Yep.
You know, that's the benefit, is we probably should have these posted somewhere so we can upload the URL in the chat, but they will email that real estate 12-week year template. And then the challenge is next week, come back with your action plan. What things are you going to commit to every week that will help you hit whatever goal you've determined for the next 12 weeks?
Yeah, perfect.
Guys, I'm adding it to the daily downloads, and I'll grab the link and put it into the chat as soon as I have it. Bear with me.
Hey, and by the way, we're done, but we like took up like half of happy hour.
Of our after party, when the discussion is this good, I just let you guys run with it, and I just
I
sit
feel
here.
bad.
All right, I just put it in the chat as a PDF.
Look at you, Techie Tom.
Oh, got it.
I'm gonna go ahead and at least